fuck's sake.
Bro,
Are you kidding me?
Talk so much.
Man, what is my problem?
I don't know, bro. Like for real. Holy shit. All right. Well, it's done. Dishes are done. We move forward here.
Ryan, thank you very much. Unbelievable. And why didn't I see your comment 5 minutes ago?
Right, we're sitting here just.
I'm
This is why.
I'm looking
This
at
is why we don't have 3,000.
This is one of the reasons, right? You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all good. Bro. Let's just move on.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tom, and this is Pedro over here. I'm the dumb one today. Thank you very much for leaving the beginning of the show on mute, which on most platforms I can just edit out, but on YouTube it waits 24 hours to edit it out. Oh, lovely. Anyway, that's better. Yes, Ryan, thank you very much. Thanks, you.
Ryan.
I really appreciate it.
Really do.
All
Well,
right, let's move on. Pedro,
yeah.
What's going on in the world of Bitcoin today?
Yes, we can go into this here real quick. All right. So BTC is playing exactly how we wanted to. Okay. We talked about this area right here, right? It being our fair value gap area in conjunction with a smaller time frame zone. Where was it? 2 hour? 3 hour. I thought it was. I thought we had a zone here. That's why I picked it. Well, I guess I'm tripping. I'll be tripping sometimes.
Pedro be tripping.
I'll be tripping sometimes. But if how would you say that in jive?
Hey, blood. I dug your rap.
A buddy of mine actually knows jive. He did the Christmas story, right, of Jesus, like Mary, riding on the camel and all that other stuff. Right?
Did the whole thing in jive.
Did the whole entire thing in jive. Like, I'm like, dude, that is so epic, bro. I told him you need to send that to me, and I told him I want to. I was gonna do it for one of the Christmas shows that we had, and I totally forgot. It's epic, absolutely epic, and it's like legit, like real legit. Like, he really went up, looked up the definitions. Anyways, I apologize as I divert to what we were talking about with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin hit our area here with the daily 8-period moving average that we saw. So I said, guys, prepare for it to go down. And sure enough, it went up and then it came down. So we got two spots here. We have the low of yesterday. So you want to be careful there, because this could act as support at these levels here. So that's going to be this area here. And so we want to be mindful of that situation. So that's going to be here. And so we're seeing already a little bit of a pump. The fact that we're having it before the low here, I kind of like it. So give me 1 second. Bro, I've been listening to this dope music, bro. I've been digging a dog. Like, I have it playing right now. I probably should. It's so good. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So we hit the lows right here. You can see we're coming down into our level here. So kind of be ready. But it looks like it's already kind of bouncing off of this prematurely. So with that, a lot of times that's a huge indication of they're actually taking out the buyers, pushing it up, and then going to sell through it. So be ready for the pullback. I would look more at that 50-period moving average sitting here today. Let's look up what this is. Okay, top. It's at the top of the hour. Give me 1 second.
Welcome, Rumblers.
Here.
Thanks for joining us on the Rumble platform.
What's up, my peoples over at Rumbles? Hey, please hit that like, subscribe, and share button. That always helps us out immensely and lets us know that we're doing something right here and I'm not just wasting my time. Please do. So I like this there. Maybe a quick little pullback to this level here on the 1 hour. Oh, I forgot I can't do that.
We had some funny business this morning. This morning was the Producers Price Index.
Yes.
Thing, and yesterday was the CPI, the Core Purchasing Index. Is that what it is? Core Purchasing. And regardless of what the numbers said in the economy, blah, 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 the manipulation on the charts was spectacular. Yesterday at 9:30 for the release, and this morning at 8:30. Pedro, when you're finished with Bitcoin, I'll show the viewers the shenanigans that went on.
It is the best. The best around. Nobody's gonna ever take me down. Anybody? Does anybody know where that's from? Never mind.
I don't know. I thought you were gonna start singing "The Best of Times" from Styx.
Ooh, that would
The best of times.
It was a Karate Kid. Sweep the lake, Johnny.
Oh, now I remember.
Make him a body bag. What is it? Something about a body bag. I forget what it was.
That the Karate Kid falls into one of those movies that are the best of the worst movies.
Dog, not even.
No, I mean it's just it's a whole category of terrible movies that are awesome.
Yes.
That are just like that movie was terrible, but I loved every second of it.
Goonies.
So this kid who has no skills at all stands like a swan, and the other guy doesn't see it coming, who's a super master martial arts guy. Yeah, okay. And he does the car wash thing, wax on, wax off. Oh, well, whatever. All right, where are we going with this Bitcoin here? Tell me we're going way up or we're going way down so I can make a lot of money today, Pedro.
So I'm seeing it's kind of come up into these levels here, bouncing off the low here, potentially pull back up into that 82.20 or 82.291 area to the 82.64 area. Got the 8 period moving average sitting right there, which is going to be the 8 period. And then we should see it again kind of fall through. If it doesn't do that, then I will look for potential pullback into this other area here, which is going to be that 81.761 area, which is going to be the lows of the previous hour, not the last hour here at 11, but the lows of the 10 o'clock hour here. So I'm just waiting for a pullback. We'll see what's up. It may continue down, but I'm not really seeing a lot of volume as we're continuing down here. And since this hour here had a pretty decent amount of green volume, I would expect us to pull back up here to these higher levels. So this is going to be a hurry up and wait moment here. So it's not just going to be so clear cut. You can see on the smaller time frames that we really don't have any supply wicks as we're coming down. And you can see here at the lower level, we have a bit of demand wicks, basic people buying. So I would expect it to kind of see it continue.
What time frame is that chart?
This is a 5-minute, but
5-minute chart.
But like I said, it all depends on the low here. So this is the low of the previous day. I'm going to make this purple. And we'll do it that color so it's a little bit different than our moving average style. Alrighty, then we're going to do that right there. No, that's not what I was trying to do. There you go. I don't know what to do, not even remotely what I'm saying it's going to do. Which
the purple line is yesterday's close. Is that what you're telling me? No.
Yeah, yesterday's close. Yes, no, you're right. So it's not yesterday's close, but yesterday's low.
Oh.
And so I would expect to see some type of buying coming in at these levels. Actually, you know what I'll do? Instead of doing it low, I'll make it blue. Because blue, boom, that's what we'll do. So you can see we're coming down, but I'm expecting to see some order flow come in because we're not putting in a lot of supply wicks as we're coming down. So for me, that communicates it will most likely come up. And I don't want to get caught off guard. So you can continue short, but me personally, I'm looking for more of an intraday play as they stop everybody else out to continue it down. So those are the looks that I'm looking at here. And this is a 1 hour trade here. So I need to change this to here.
So if you let's talk on the concept of thinking about the future when we've got our new TradeWave app running. Would you have a trade cooking for Bitcoin right now? Or is it like you waiting for the market to move a little bit more so you can see a setup kind of come into play?
So when we have that all set up and everything to go, so we would be looking. So the open would have been right here. This would have been the 9:30 open. We would have seen the sell off. So, and then we would see the pullback coming in. So with this pullback at 10 o'clock, we would have been looking. I said, all right, guys, look, we're selling off. You can see on the 5 minute, what just happened? On the 5 minute, here it is. So you can see here on the 5 minute, they're putting in the short. So we'd expect it to continue down. So we would then look for the pullback at the top of the hour to go up to continue down. So we'd do it exactly what we expected. So as you see the 10 o'clock candle, we see it go up. We would go then to the 30-minute to hour. And I would sit there and say, all right, guys, look, we're seeing it come up. Where do we play? We would want to play around this level. And then so we'd wait for the pull up. And then from there, you could see here that the 15-minute is holding. So we would get somewhere in around this level here, which would be about right here, like here or here, where it's showing, and then we'd expect it to continue down. We would capture that trade, and then in the afternoon, we want to capture the next trade, which would typically be the low of the previous day, and or, this is really important, a continuation of the down, which we would want to wait for a pullback again. We want to get in on the trend of the day, which is down, and the larger trend is down as well. So that's what we'd be looking to get into.
Well, while you were explaining all that, the market is coming down to hit that yesterday's low.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
And we should see a bit of a push up here.
Let's see it. Does any of the moving averages correlate with yesterday's low? No. No, it's on every time frame. Price is well below the moving averages.
Yeah, it's okay. But again,
even the daily.
We're not looking to go long. We're looking to short on a pullback.
And why is that, Pedro? This is the sage advice you have imparted into me.
Because the trend is down.
The trend is down. That's right. I'm just gonna pull up my chart real quick here. Oh, look at that. Apparently the browser is on the wrong. Here, give me a second here. Well, infinite Toms, infinite Pedros. Hey, do the wave. Hey.
Hey.
Hold on a sec. Let me fix that. You'll see the wrong screen here for just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Come on, computer. You can do your thing. Might be a good time to talk about the fundraising for buying Tom a new computer.
Is it working or not? All right.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
So we have. Let me turn the great graphics machine off here. What I've got is the one. This is the 1 minute chart. But what I wanted to start off with was going back to 8:30 this morning, which was the release of the producer's price index information. And what do we see here, Pedro, at 8:30? I'm putting my mouse on the wrong thing so nobody can see it. At 8:30, this wick right here. In about 30 seconds, BTC wicked up almost 1,300 points or dollars. And then immediately came back down. And if you recall a while ago, some of the advice I gave people was if you're trading, if you're following along with us, or just trading on your own, be wary of these time periods when numbers drop. It's not because the numbers are that important for your day trading. They're important for the economy at large. But if you're in a trade that has a stop in these areas where you could get wicked out on junk, market manipulation and things like that. I mean, maybe it's good if you had a take profits up there. I mean, that's one thing. It's one way to play it. But if you're in danger of getting wicked out, and then the market immediately retracing, so you've pretty much got screwed, then you need to just be aware of this. So at times when they talk about big numbers coming out of Washington, D.C., be a little bit more clever than everyone else and make sure your trade is protected if you're in one then. But let's look at the one of the thing that Pedro said was, what's the downtrend? And here you're looking at the 1 minute chart. The price is below all of the moving averages. It's pretty clear. I'm not on the right screen here or camera. And then the 5 minute chart, price is below all the moving averages. 15 minute chart, prices below all the moving averages. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Price is below all the moving averages. We're going to go all the way up 4 hour, 8 hour, 12 hour, and even the daily. And this is what has a lot of people concerned, is that the Bitcoin price is, for the past 3 days now, has closed underneath the 200 smooth moving average, that red line that I have there. Pedro, my moving average colors get all jacked up the other day, and I haven't fixed it yet.
You're all good, dude.
But anyway, and so we need to have some closing days above that for the trend to change, and then move down all of those time periods that you see here: the 12 hour, the 8 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour. And I was guilty of looking at the trade right now and saying, "Ooh, looks like it's time for a rebound," and then going long here, and then getting wrecked on the trade. And then I was like, "Wow, I'm looking at all the little local things here." Let me get my camera right so I can do my weatherman thing. Weatherman. Oops. I would in the past, I would look at this, say, okay, we've come down a lot. It's starting to go back up a little bit, and in a rookie maneuver, as I call it, I would go long there, saying just hope to catch the reversal in the uptrend. And the key word I just used there was hope, right? Is hope a proper trading term, Pedro?
Yeah, it's called hopium.
Right.
It's a drug. Dear Lord, what just happened? Technical difficulties. Yes. We are having.
You get new batteries or something? Hear me, Pedro?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. You know when you get new batteries for something, and they are shit?
Yes. I actually know that very often.
In my wireless show pack, I got brand new batteries. Put them in the show. They usually last me a week. Lasted me one show. Anyway, what I was saying is hopium is something that you end up getting addicted to, and losing all your money, and losing all the friends in your life and your family, and you wind up on the streets, just like crack. And then such the obvious answer to that is, if you see how everything trending down, don't play against the market. Even if you think your trade setup's perfect, the whole market's against you. And you need every edge. Remember that the market is not forgiving. Not forgiving at all. That was a bit of advice. It made me sit out a whole bunch of trades that I otherwise would have taken and lost. So that's what I wanted to explain my personal experience with Pedro's
tutelage.
Back to you, sir.
Excellent. So I think what's interesting is so the market just came in and tapped into us. We're kind of seeing it kind of go sideways here, so we're waiting to see what it's going to do. Now it's going down here, and it should have went up. So we're just going to chill out and see here, really, where it can. I want to see it come back up, because I hate it getting into a market when I don't really have a good stop, right? Like if it's going to sell through, I want to see it to sell through and then come back up and hit a pullback, or from the lows here, because there's a lot of stops here. There's also one right here.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some new batteries here.
No worries. So you kind of have a. This is always a little tricky. Oh, look at them! Look at them just screw everybody over. You didn't even see this one right here. That was a. This is what you call a bear trap. So there are stops here, and when people see the break of this low here, and I didn't even catch this until like I was like, wait, is that a low there? So there's stops here, right? Meaning people went long here and pushed this up. See how it's green? And so there's stops. Then again, there's stops here. Okay. So again, there's basically sell positions. So they're establishing their sell positions. And the way they do that is they go in and they buy off of those stops. So you can see right here, you can see in between here is a bear trap. And so they're expecting it to see a sell. Most people probably saw this. I didn't see this other one right here. And so you can see here as it comes through, they literally tap everybody here, but then they go here and take this. So it's just, I think it's not funny, but as a trader, it's funny. It's almost like it's like DeFi humor, which is dark. What's that? It's a Generation X humor. We laugh at people who fall, or you beat up your friend.
Bicycle crash. You're laughing at the guy like whoo.
And the only reason why, the reason why and you laugh because you know the pain. You know the pain. You're like ooh. So. Coming from the crew, people who used to ride skateboards. I used to try to be a skateboarder, bro. Oh my goodness, at the pain, bro. And the littlest of rocks, any skater knows. Beware of the baby rock. Beware.
Pedro, I had a skateboard once in my life, and it was I got it the day after I had a super awful bicycle crash. I was 6 years old, about to turn 7. It was the day before my 7th birthday, and my buddies and I were going down the hill on the road. Our road had a big hill on it, and at the bottom there was the area where the mail lady always wore out the side of the grass. And we come in on our BMXs and skid and had fun and stuff. I was going way too fast, and next thing I know, my handlebars are going sideways like this. I'm like, oh, this is not gonna good. And next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground bleeding.
Good times.
And one of my friends, his name was Tom Cook, him and his brother Noel were looking over me, and Tom yells, "I don't think he's alive!" And they run off to get my mom. The next thing I see, mom, there's hedges between the houses. I see mom running, doing the OJ thing through the airport hurdles.
Oh yeah.
I'm just laying there like this, like, oh, this life sucks. And my mom comes running over. And what happened is Noel ran over to the house and said, "Tommy crashed his bike, and I think he's dead."
Oh no!
Because his brother said, "I don't think he's alive." Because I'm laying there like this, my nose is bleeding like crazy. And she goes running over, and there's like her living room slippers, and jumps the fence. And I'm just laying there. I could see her coming. And then my dad comes around the corner, and he had a little BMW 2002 at the time.
Yeah.
Stick shift, and he's drifting that effer around the corner. Comes to a halt in the car, boom, off to the hospital. I wasn't badly hurt. I just busted my nose up really badly, and scraped the crap out of my knees and elbows and all that type of stuff.
Being a kid.
I know. And so the next day for my birthday, I got a skateboard. I was like, I don't think. And I'm laying there on the couch, with a crutch. Like, I don't think it's gonna work. And that was the end of my skateboarding career. I've actually never used it except to use it as like a mechanical device when constructing things in the garage that I needed wheels and bearings for. That was it.
Nice, dude.
That was my skateboarding career. And that is why when snowboarding came around for skiing, because I was alive before there was snowboarding, and I was like, nope, bad plan. Bad plan. Snowboarding, one plank, both feet attached to it, bad. Skiing, independent suspension. That's like, I just remembered laying on the couch and getting that skateboard, and I was like, I'm going to stick with skiing. Anyway, my side tangent aside, I hope all of you 3 viewers out there really enjoy something. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up with you, Pedro.
Yes, sir.
I I've got a little bit of Pedro in my mind here, and some of the things we've been talking about, and I've been listening to someone else and stuff, and I had a realization about a couple of things that I'll talk to you later about off the air. But one of the things that is going along with that is what you harp me on a lot, and I need to stop it in all aspects of my life, and that's being negative.
Good.
And I want you to be more diligent on it when I am negative.
Okay.
Even in trading, like of course that's going to happen to me. You know, that's
don't say that shit.
I know. I've been trying now about 3 days in a row now to really
nice. Good job.
Start this. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
Bro, you've been doing it for almost 50, or you've been doing it 54 years, right?
Well, the negative aura is it's not that I'm a negative person. I'm a highly optimistic person, but I use it as part of my humor.
Yeah, but
there's
other ways to be humorous.
Yes. Though there's lots of them, and I'm good at it. But I just have to eliminate that aspect of it. Or in the blame game, you know, like of course that's going to happen to me. You know, you know, I have to say, I didn't look at all aspects of it, and I need to work on that.
Yeah. Or just I won't even say that. Just saying I'm learning.
Right. That's essentially.
I'm learning. Well, no, but you want to say I'm learning, I'm growing, because what happens is your brain likes to learn because dopamine is released. And so when you go through, oh yeah, I'm now ready. You can go ahead and show me. Yeah, I'm ready. All right. Like, remember because I was eating. Never mind. All right.
You're on.
Yeah, I'm on.
Little close to the camera today, though. If you could push that back a little. You can just push the camera back.
There we go.
I can deal with it when you're too far away, because I can adjust that. But if you're too close, nothing I can do about that.
I got you. What about now? Is that better?
Perfect.
It's absolutely perfect. All right. So when you're trading, this is with everything, man. It doesn't matter. I learned it because trading, the only thing you can control is your stop. It's your only thing you can control. You can sometimes you can't even control your entry because you get
the camera down a little.
Oh, sorry. Sometimes you can't even control your entry because they change the entry price, or you get a bad fill. You control when you get out of the market.
Right.
So the reality is that when you're getting in and it goes against you, dopamine is released no matter what. Whether it is good or bad, dopamine is released. So if you celebrate the loss, it jacks you up. Then wires your trading for loss. And you can rewire. Our brain is plastic. You can rewire something. You can basically just override it, or anybody who knows about coding, you just go through and just delete that code and upload a new batch. And so one of the things, I'm moving my hand again, dude. My hands, bro. I don't know why I want to use them all the time. They just kind of creep up out of nowhere. And I'm like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? And this is in my face. Okay. So the reality is that when I'm trading, I know that the only thing I can control. So when it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'm learning that my growth, and it's important to sit there and say, I'm learning, I'm growing. Those two words will help rewire your brain and give you grace.
So I tried to have that more timely, but go ahead.
That's all right. So the idea is that, like, for example, let's take the trade here we're waiting for, right? I said I'm waiting for it to come up here. I'm not going to go long at this level here. We're going to see buyers and sellers come in at this low here. I said we were. So we saw it come up. Now, my goal is I want to get in at the area where there are wicks. There's really no wick except for right here. And this is a non-essential time right here. But this right here, this is an essential time. This is a 30-minute wick, and this is an hour wick. So for me, I want to get in at this level here, because when it does pull back, I'm going to get the SMA on the hour, and on the 2 hour, I'm also going to get up in this level again, the SMA sitting here. So I want, if it does pull back, that's where I want. Now, in in the actual play, we would have been looking to get in up in these levels short, or actually right up in here. The pullback into this area here would have been the areas that we would have been looking for the pullback at the open, right? You see this go up, this shoot up, boom, and then 9:30 opens, it goes up. We're looking to go down. We see right here it closes below the 8, and I'm like, okay, it's time to go short right here. And so, because I can, it would have, this market would have went up, or this candle would have went up first, then gone down. Or if you guys miss that because we don't chase, then we wait for the pullback. Wait for the pullback to cut through the 8 to go to the next moving average, which is going to be the 15. And so then I go to the 15-minute and I go, all right, we're having a pullback on the 15-minute, right? Boom, here we go, pull back. We want to get in. Here's a small little zone. Our zone would have been about right here. And we said, all right, we're getting in. Boom, pull back. We continue down. So that's would have been, and the first thing in the morning, what we would have been looking at. Then the continuation down. Now, the low, like I always say, you don't know if it's going to continue or if it's going to bounce up, pull back, get more buyers to continue down,
Mhm.
right? And so you just, like I said, you want to be careful here. We don't know. I'm expecting it to pull back. Obviously, it looks like it's continuing down, but you can see here how on the 5-minute it did pull up for a minute and then continue down. So they're continuing it down because they have enough buyers at this level here. And there was a substantial amount of buyers at this level. You can see here that it kind of was about 75% of the previous big candles here. The last hour, we've seen it go through. So I would expect it to continue to pull back up and then go down. We'll see what happens. But I like getting in at pretty strong pullbacks so that I can really make a profit on that trade. So that's one of the things that I like to do. It just looks like they're stopping everybody out and then gonna be pulling it up. So go ahead, bud.
What you led me to remember something that someone else told me about trading. Uh,
Hmm.
in in this big market thing that's going on here, uh, there's a lot going on in the market. There's all sorts of factors at play here, and
Hmm.
there are companies out there that pay billions and billions and billions of dollars in capital infrastructure and in smart people to figure it out, stay one step ahead, to try and control all of these things so that they can make a profit. But they largely fail, because the market is the market, and it's the sum of millions or billions of inputs, however many of these could
Hmm.
possibly be. But there is one thing you can absolutely control, and I know you know this, but I hope our viewers do too. And since we're a low viewage today, I'll repeat this on other shows. There's absolutely one thing you can control, absolutely 100% in your day-to-day trading. You can control your losses. You have
That's it.
absolute, complete 100% control over your losses
Just
by
stop.
having stop orders or not trading when conditions don't warrant it.
Yeah.
If you're not in the market, can't lose. Hey, good day, didn't lose anything.
Hmm.
Also, if you have a stop order, yesterday I lost money in a certain time period when I should have made a lot of money. And I I don't even know the right word for it. But what happened was, if remember on the show, I was like, "Hey, I'm in a little trade. We're going." I was long. Later in the show, I was short or whatever. But those were two separate trades. In the first trade, I was long for a little bit, into profits quickly. I was up like $10. Moved my stop order up to say, "Look, all right, I'm going to move the stop up into profits, and then I'm not going to worry about it." Sure enough, a few minutes later, got stopped out, came back down, got stopped out, made $10. I was happy. I was like, oh, all right, worked out. Took $10 off the market. Go off to come back. Market's still going up. And I'm look at things, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I think this may continue. So I get back in. Market does continue up. And this time I'm like, well, I choked off the trade there by moving my stop up too quickly. I should have let it cook. And so I left my stop down in its original spot. Sure enough, the market popped right down and wicked me out on the stop. And I lost my full amount on the trade. And I was like, I mean, that was the trade, though. I got stopped out. I get it. And then the market immediately reversed and went up a lot. It went up for the next 6 hours yesterday. The market basically went up from noon till 7 last night. And I missed out on all of that because I was endlessly messing with my trade. I was like, changing the stop. And one of the things was I just need to understand to control, make your plan. And if it's your plan, if it's what you think is your model, the trade, and it works, stick with it. And if you lose the money, that's the cost of that plan for that trade. But had I had just left the original stop where it was and gone out and played golf, or done, I would have probably made $100 yesterday instead of losing. I ended up in the red, $8.
Okay, backtrack. All right. I would say, one, did you have a trade plan for that? So do you have a trade plan that you actually follow? That's really important. And when you make a trade, you should have rules that govern that trade, almost like a meta rule system that you follow every single time. Because trading is won by executing the same thing over and over and over, so you can create a statistical
So you can create your data set.
Not just a data set, but it's a statistical data set that is like 60% win ratio. Like, you have to have the same rules that you can follow so you can create a winning strategy for yourself. And if you don't have that, you're literally just wasting your time.
And that's
You
the second
need
trade I did yesterday. Was just I didn't follow the rules. The first
Okay,
one, the first one was like, this
well,
thing's right, popped above
Tom,
the
let me
moving
jump
average
in.
right where I said.
Tom, let me jump in.
Go ahead.
Tom, let me. So, with that said, I don't really care about your loss. Honestly, I don't care. And the reason why I want to point, and I'm not trying to be insensitive, I care more about your win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm focusing on. Okay. And that's where, like, you can sit there and say, okay, boom, how can you make that win better? That's really where I want to focus on and so in that analysis of it, I want you to go through and say, I wrote this down, I did this correct, I did this correct. Because here's the thing, everybody knows, like, if you're studying martial arts or if you're studying something like that, you can either work on the thing that you're weak at, or you can stay focused on the thing that you're really strong in. And what happens is, as your thing that you're really strong in martial arts, you focus on that. What happens is your weak area a lot of times will get better conjunctionally because you're working on the thing that makes you strong. And it's the same idea with in trading, is that you focus on the very things that make you strong, that winning mindset. It's the winning mindset that is the most important thing. And I know it sounds silly,
No, it
but
doesn't.
what happens is, and you can take this to any part of your life. This is in sales. I learned this principle when I was doing in 2009, or actually 2008, 2009. I started doing door knocking. I work for Apex, which is now it's like a major solar company. They actually work with Tesla. But before they got bought out by Tesla, basically I learned how to do door knocking, and I was selling security insurance companies, and or they were selling security alarms in all over the country. And so I couldn't really find a job, and I was trying to figure it out. So the only thing that was there was sales jobs. So I was working for this company called Invest Tools, which was a financial firm, and then I went to door knocking. And in both transitions of doing sales for Invest Tools and doing sales for the financial or door knocking, the biggest thing that I noticed was that I focused on my wins. When I focused on my wins and I focused on how much I wanted to make, And I didn't get upset if I didn't make it. I just focused on my wins. Like, oh, that was a dope close. How did I close that? And what happens? It trained my mind for positivity. And when my mind would go into like this idea of, well, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right. Well, then I go, well, that just has to do with planning. And I picked that book. I picked that up from the book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which was basically, you know, people basically walk the terrain and people. Oh, that's pretty loud, but in my ear.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to pipe that into your head.
Yeah, that's all right. People learn that in either one way or another, right? You can focus on your kid doing horrible things, or you can focus on the things that he's doing right? And just celebrate the right things. And sooner or later, and I mean, and Andrew Carnegie learned this when he was working in the steel factory, right? When he was working with a lot of people. And I'm quoting "How to Win Friends and Influence People" by Dale Carnegie. Um, and so he's talking about Andrew Carnegie when he was leading people. And so it's understanding what you focus on tells your brain. And I don't mean this in like the whole entire feel good ideas of The Secret. I mean, literally, your brain is built this way. It's whether it evolved and you believe we evolved or whether you believe we were created. It's how we work. And so what you focus on and give praise to is what you become better at. And if you want to become better at failing, then focus on your failures. If you want to become better at winning, focus on your winnings and create the mental map, i.e. trading plan, and keep tinkering it. I was talking to a guy over the weekend and he'd been I let people reach out. If you're going to reach out to me, I'm going to make you work for it because I don't want to give you my time if you're not going to listen to me. So when I respond back to you, whatever medium that you try to reach out to me to, I'm going to make you work for it, just straight up. But once you keep bothering me and you're not bothering me, I'm just waiting and seeing if are you serious about this? What happens is I then start to tell you, and one of the things I was telling the guy about trading, because he basically was like, I've been burned here, I've been burned there, I was following this guy, I was burned, following this guy, this burned. So my first question was this: first of all, have you written a trading plan? And he started talking to me more about his problems, and I ignored his problems. Not that I don't care about the individual, because I care about everybody, but the reality is, you focusing on your problems is not going to help you get better. What makes you better is that you focus on the things that you're good at. And then what happens is you realize that everything else starts to drop off. And then what happens, and I'm talking, and I mean like skill sets. I don't mean like your marriage, that's a different story. I don't mean like relationships, that's a different story. I'm talking about technical things that you want to get good at. What happens is your brain focuses on those things that you want to get better at, and it creates and solves problems. It gives you ideas saying, if we try this, let's try this, or that worked really well. Why did
Right.
that work really well? And then you start to critique why that worked really well, and then you start to pinpoint it in the market or in whatever you do. And so it's super important that you focus on literally winning. And if you don't have a set of winning on something, it's okay to saying, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I'm going to get good at this. I am getting good at this. I am going. Look, before I ever got it, you know how many doors I knocked before I got my first sale?
I gotta imagine it was a lot.
Dog, it was like 2000. I went almost 3 weeks. Literally 3 weeks, bro. It was like, I think I was knocking 150 to 200 days a week. And the only day you got off was literally Sunday. We were in a trap, bro. We were in a trap, and I was literally running like across, because I was trying to get good at it. And I knew because of my previous sales job that if I could just get a sale, and so I would follow guys, right, where I would sit there like one day out of the week, I would sit there and I'd follow somebody who was a good salesman, and I would literally mentally just sit back, be quiet, and watch him open at the door, and then from there just watch. And once he would get 1 or 2 sales, normally it was just about 1 sale, and then I would go through, I'd write it down, what he said, how I really watch his posture, his confidence, right? And then in that, I tried to emulate that. I mean, it wasn't me, but I had no source of how to really focus on at the door. So my body emulated it, and sure enough, I remember the first time I got 2 sales. I hadn't got a sale. It was raining that day. I think we were in what was it? It was outside of I forget exactly where we were at, but it was basically raining. And I was just frustrated. I waited, and I just said, God, help me get this. I want to win this. It was a thing, and or it was a what's the word? It was a contest for the day, and we're like a bunch of traveling salesmen, really door knocking salesmen selling securities. And I remember sitting down, the rain was coming down hard, and it was in the morning, and I wanted to win this contest. And I was like, I know I can win this contest. I know I can do this. I didn't even believe it. I literally didn't even believe it in my heart. But I was just saying, I know I can win this contest. I know I can do this. And bro, I knocked on this door, and I literally set it in my heart. I'm going to do this. And at that moment, the guy came to the door, and he was like, what do you want? And I was like, hey, I would like to make you laugh. And the guy looks at me and goes, what the F is wrong with you? I go, nothing, man. I'm out here. It's raining, and I'm just a poor dude. I'm trying to earn a buck.
But you got the sale, huh?
The guy started laughing, and we started cracking up, and I just became comfortable in the idea of I'm doing my best, and
focus on winning.
Not just that, but I'm doing my best, and most importantly, I realized this for me. What got my sales and what got me going was people buy me, and if I don't buy myself, then nobody else is going to buy me.
Right.
And I buy myself for winning. And like I said, I know I can win. And in that, it made, even in my uncomfortableness and my lack of confidence, I knew I would buy me. Because I knew from a character standpoint it was legit. I knew from an individual standpoint I'm a dope dude. So it worked. And then it's progressed itself. Ding, 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 ding. And granted, I have look, we would not have been long, or we would not have been short today, because I expected us to go long here, right? Show my screen here. I thought it was going to go up and then come down. We would not be in this trade. I'm not stressing that the market is selling off, because I know from my trade plan, I like pulling back to pullbacks. And I've seen this more times than not. Now, I have another trade where we would have been looking to go about.
Hold on. You said a bunch of things that I want to.
Oh, hit on. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to hit on is that one of the things I've had a problem with is, as I mentioned before, is the negative part.
One of the things that you're learning about. Not a problem.
No, you're right. That's what I'm learning about.
No,
right.
It literally starts, and it starts in your vernacular. It starts in the liquidity of the word usage you use.
A while ago, when I was in a different business, I had a boss that conducted, every time you went out and did a sale, win or lose, he did a review of it. Every proposal, when the proposal was either dead or accepted, he'd do a review of it. And it was a review. And he learned it from the previous boss, who did a good job on it. But this guy had a little different. He was always like, what went wrong? What was wrong? What was wrong? What was wrong? What was wrong? And it almost trained me to be like that, because one of the things that he said was, I went and I sold 2 armored Suburbans, or 3, whatever it was. And he said, what went wrong with this? I was like, I don't know. I got $400,000 here from these 2 sales. All good to me. And he said, well, you didn't sell 3. And I was like, well, what do you expect? And he's like, did you ask them? I was like, no. He's like, well, all right, well, next time ask. But he made it in such a way, he said it in such a way, he reinforced the negative aspect of it. Instead of saying, that was a great job, how could this have gone better? And then I would say, I don't know. And he said, well, did you try and ask for a third one? We could have analyzed how, but he put the negative aspect on something that I had done well. And I didn't just think of this. This is the first time in this conversation. It's the first time I've recalled this in about 15 years, but it was back in the 90s when it happened. And I remember leaving his office, and the lady that sat out of it, she looked at me like, gave me the concerned look, like something was wrong. I had just brought in $400,000 to the company. I was young. I had closed a big sale, and I left his office defeated. And it was just the way he used the words like that. And I was thinking about this the other day when I was listening to this person talk, and he said, look, if you're going to be negative in public, you're going to be negative to yourself. I know you're negative to yourself if you're negative in public. And it was like lightning struck me. I was like, there's more of that we can talk about later because I have some other things to talk to you about. But that was one of the things that's been drilled into my head for so long, that even when something went right, people could make it negative, and I learned that.
Yeah, that was huge. I'm lucky that I'm so weird. People don't want to be around me unless they're like super positive. Like, I'm lucky, bro.
There was too long of a pause there between the qualifier. You stopped it. People don't want to be around me, and I was like, well, at least he admitted it.
Well, the thing is, I'm very positive, and so when people, like, most people are negative, like just off the jump, and then they continue it, and I can't be around them. So I'm like, yo, what about this? That's dope. And people are like, yeah, but did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, but did you notice you didn't die? Like, dog, that's a dope thing, right? And it's not that it's not that I'm being pessimist, but just from a mindset, I know you get nothing from negativity.
Absolutely.
Like, and I mean literally from it. I'm not talking analyzing where you can get better. I'm talking literally being negative from it. There was a period in time where I got out of the military, and I hit a small stint of just negativity. And I remember even everything in me was just like, ugh, like just wasn't good. And I felt it. It felt good. My mind didn't feel good. And then I kind of jumped back into the positive side of things later on, around 2016, 17. It kind of changed my mindset. And then COVID was some major stuff. But the reason why I bring that up is literally because the idea is this. If there's a person, if there's a person who can really be negative and have a right to be negative, and I mean, I got rights. Like, there are a lot of trauma, bad things have happened to me, like legit. I'm not going to go into them on the stage here, but I mean, really bad stuff as a child, as an adult, just some crappy things. And the truth is, I can sit there and hold on to him like, this happened, but it doesn't help because nobody else cares. Like, nobody cares about you. What they care about if you win. Like, the only person who cares is God. I'll put it like that.
Winning.
Or your mom. Okay. And maybe
mom
you got a good mom. Yeah. But, and I didn't even have a real mom. So go figure on that. So, it is this. Ultimately, as a man or as a woman, if you want to be good at something, you gotta focus more on winning. And I don't mean it like Charlie Sheen winning. I mean just that mindset that he's almost delusional, that you're gonna sit there and be like, I'm winning, right? Like, that is what it takes to win.
Let me tell you how I'm practicing that right now, Pedro.
Tell me.
I had a trade earlier today. Cleared $11 on it.
Dope.
Made $11. Closed it off. And you know what I did? I closed the window that I was using to trade. I'm watching the market on another chart, but for the reason, so for this entire day, and when Mrs. Striking comes home later from work, she's going to ask how my day was. And I'm going to say, I've been winning all day. And I had a positive day. And I know I could probably get another trade in or two or 500.
Yeah.
But I won, and this day is going to have a check mark on it for a win. How are your stats today, Tom? I won. Winning trade. So this is the new Tom. And we could talk about it a lot more, but I think one of the things we need to pivot on and talk to is welcome Carmen Crypto. Happy Thursday,
What's
Chumbawongs.
up?
Carmen
By
might
the way,
not still be watching us because she said a while ago, but thanks for tuning in, Carmen Crypto. And of course, Crypto Mike in the house. Crypto Mike, welcome to the show. That's right. Oh, Canada for Crypto Mike. And of course, Mikester with the Make Trump coin great again. Yes, thank you. That's the positivity there.
You are fake news.
But then we've got, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chuck Jansen in the house. Hasn't been around in a while. Chuck Jansen is.
What's up, brother? What up, Dr. J?
Yeah, let me play that one louder here because that one needs to be louder.
You using the whole fist, Doc?
There we go. Hey, Doc, what's happening? Thanks for joining us. Haven't seen you around. You must have been on vacation or something and enjoying the wife and the kids and the beach and the piles of money you made from the Trump coin or whatever mining Litecoin, whatever it is you do. I can't remember. Anyway, thanks for joining us to our fine fans. Thanks to everyone that's joining us on Rumble and on YouTube. And for those 4 of you who joined us on X today, thank you very much. And with our Pedro, I fully expect these numbers to start going off the wall here with the positivity going up. I got to tell you, it's going to happen.
Well,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm talking because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, let me add something to that. Let me add some fire, some fuel to that. All right. What were the things that I wanted to see last year? I wanted to see us to get to about 60,000 subs, right? And I wanted to see us have one day of 1,000 people that came on. I said it, right? And you were like, and I said my first goal is going to be us get to 10,000, right? Because at the time last year or during that period, right, we only had 3,000 viewers or 3,000 subs,
right?
And then all of a sudden, one of your videos caught fire, and all of a sudden we went from 3,000 to 15,000. Yeah, but those exploded, right? And you're like, holy crap. And then we basically broke even. We had people that would subscribe, we had people that would describe, and we kind of stayed at that level, and we kind of climbed. It was about 16,000, came back to 15, right? Or something of that nature.
Yeah,
but
about right.
Yeah. So, and then in that same sense, you're like, well, we didn't make it to 60,000. I go, well, the year's not over, and we could very much do it again, right? And get on another something viral. But I go, I'm also hoping for the 1,000 views. And you're like, we're barely breaking 50, Pedro, on a daily basis. And I said to you, but it still doesn't mean we can't hit 1,000. Now, you said that's crazy. And I said, you don't know. Because you don't know, because life happens, and it can happen good, and it can happen bad, but it can also happen good. And sure enough, it was like 2 days before the year over, we hit literally 1,000 in one day. Whoop whoop. Now, granted, these were just left field things, but the fact that they happened means they can happen again, and it means they can be bigger. Right? And that's the thing. If I can bring to everybody here, and everybody's listening to me, listen, this market is not dead. This market is not dead. I'm telling you again, this market is not dead. I keep telling everybody, and I've been talking about this happening when the market is at 109. I go, I still think it's most likely going to come down because the institutions that they are finally really getting involved do not want to buy at the peak. They'll want to buy at these lower levels. So I'm expecting them to sell off the market. And remember, it's not bad as the market is going down if you know how to short. Right? That's why we connected with our friends over at BitFi. Right?
So, Pedro, very proactive of you.
Oh, yes.
Best crypto demo trading here, ladies and gentlemen, at BitFi. QR code right under us. Sign up for BitFi. They'll give you 100 USDT to sign up for an account in which you can trade. And if you make profits from it, you can take the profits away. They also have a great demo trading. Oh, I got those graphics reversed. But rewards up to 2,888. I think this graphic is old here. They have programs with rewards up to $10,000 if you do certain types of trading. put certain kind of money in. But for you noobs that just want to learn, join, get an account, use the QR code right here. They'll give you 100 USDT and come back and ask Pedro and I questions about trading. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you, Pedro.
Oh, you're welcome. And so, along with that, if the market goes down, you can take. There's always opportunities. Like that's the thing. I was talking to a friend. He's like, "What are you doing today?" I go, "Oh, I'm looking at the market. I'm trading right now, and I'm looking for opportunities." And he goes, "What do you mean opportunities?" I go, "Yeah, there's opportunity." He goes, "You mean trades?" I go, "Yeah, one and the same. Opportunity to make money." And he goes, "Why do you say it that way?" And I go, "Because it's opportunities. I can take them. I can leave them. There's still opportunities." And it's a good way to look at the world. Everything is an opportunity. The idea that Elon Musk, did you know when Elon Musk was a kid, they used to throw soda cans at his head and beat him up?
Yeah.
Like that. I thought it was a joke. And then I looked it up and it was like, oh, that's really real. Oh, I felt bad for laughing.
Hold on, Pedro. Got to interrupt you. Excited for
yeah.
where the market is right now. Thanks again to Tom and Pedro for all you do. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Jansen, our prolific donator. Thank you very much, Chuck. Really appreciate the super chat. Helping the YouTube algorithm know that something good is going on here and helping to get the word out. And, of course, giving Pedro and I lots of the money from your pocket into ours. Right like that. We'll take it. We'll take it all, ladies and gentlemen. And as I always like to say, every dollar that you spend on this show goes right back into it, helping the cause, getting the word out, making everything better.
Absolutely. I think one of the things I think is so important also to add on to, and I know it sounds silly, but as you go through and you're being positive, okay, enjoy the positive feeling. And it sounds silly.
You can feel it. You can feel it.
Like literally revel in and go, ooh, that feels actually good. Like I don't have that boding feeling of like doom over my head, but literally saying, I think I could win. Like actually sit down. And again, I know this sounds silly, but I remember, again, I talked to you about the first sell I ever got, right? And from there, I got one sell and another sell within 2 hours. It was like boom, boom, boom. And then the rain started and I just kept knocking. I was just happy I got 2 sales. Okay. But I remember sitting there just feeling that feeling of going like, dog, I did it. Like I remember sitting there and it was a solid win. It was like this guy bought, and I was like, I'm taking it, dude. Like I'm winning it. And then the next one came, and I think it was like 2 or 3 houses over, and then I sold him again. And it was all before 12. And the contest was you had to get 2 sales, or you had to get he who had the most sales before noon won. And I won. And I remember just sitting there just being like, oh, this is so dope. So I want you to sit there, enjoy the feeling of potential win. If you haven't even won yet, but the potential of winning, like enjoy that feeling. That's a real feeling. And I know that. And again, it helps with the molecular structure of your brain and you seeing winning situations, winning opportunities that come your way. And it's weird. I always wonder if Elon Musk ever tried to learn how to trade, because he has such a winning mindset of just like whatever happens, he's just going to be like, we're going to figure this out and we're going to win this shit. Like it's just, we're going to make this happen. We're going to win this malarkey and it's going to be on like Donkey Kong. I mean, that's just how his mindset is.
I totally agree with you. He knows how to make things happen. Like for instance, we talk about reading his book. It talks about, I'm like, how did he go from, he arrived in North America with nothing and became the world's richest man quickly.
Yeah.
And how did he, get through all the steps to do it? And when he was at the University of Toronto, or Queen's University, whichever one it was, in Kingston, he and his buddy would call wealthy people and traders and things like that to talk about stuff. And one guy took his call in I guess it was in Massachusetts or something. And he's talking to these 2 college kids about stuff. And next thing you know, they're both interns. I might not have this story exactly right, but they're both working for him as interns in his company. And they bring new young guy ideas to a bunch of things. It really works. He loves them, thinks they're great. And then later when Elon is saying, hey, we need to fix the payments business, I got an idea. He goes to that guy. And the guy, through his connections, helps fund his X.com, not the current one, but the X bank that he started, which he merged into what David Sachs was starting with PayPal right at the beginning of it, and immediately took off. I mean, he just said, when he's in university, he said, I'm just going to call rich guys until I get something out of it. And he got to be the richest guy in the world. I mean, obviously everything's easier once you have lots of money. So once he sold PayPal, he can do other things.
No, it's not true. It is easier when you have nothing.
Well, you could start a car company. You needed a little bit.
I'm telling you. No. Meaning, okay, what is the essence of life, easiness versus hardness? Right? More responsibility you have, the harder it kind of is, because you've got more working parts that you can't control. And it's like, like he can't control workers over at SpaceX. He can't control people who potentially could take his stuff for Neuralink and sell it somewhere else. He can't control Sam Altman, right? It's harder for him now. Anything that he does, it's going to be harder. But the reason why I add to this is that it's easy where you're at. If you have nothing going for you right now, it is the most easiest you have it. Tom, when you had a warehouse filled with $100 million worth of stuff, right? That was a lot, dude. Every single day, you're like, I need to bring in income to my business so that my employees can keep working. And the weight of it. Now, granted, you have $200,000 coming in a year. You got $100,000. You're doing well, but still, you've got a lot of responsibility compared to now, where things are a lot, but not as stressful, and it's a little easier for you, so you can pivot.
Wait, almost no stress. Broke as shit, but I get putting 2 kids through college still. All is good.
Yeah, and I bring that up because the reality is this, is when you're at the bottom, that is good, because it's not hard. It's not that hard. I know it sounds crazy, but when you got a lot of stuff going on and it's crazy, what happens is your brain starts to focus and laser focus to make things happen for you. And as that's happening, then you're able to push off all the other stress and make it happen. I think the reason why Elon Musk, whatever he does, because he's always now working, his primary goal is to make the human race a multi-planetary species. And because that is his meta narrative in his brain, everything he does allows him either to bring in income and or get that income into the very avenue for him to keep moving towards his meta goal by making humans a binary or planetary
multi-planetary species.
Yeah. And so, and that idea funnels everything into it. And I respect that, because his hyper focus in that enables other businesses to funnel into that. And that will happen to anybody who hyper focuses on what their primary objective is. So you need to, 1, have a primary objective for your life. 2, kind of put it together what you would like to focus on the hyper. And your meta narrative for your life needs to be something that's going to serve other people, not just you, but also other people that will benefit from it, which will then cause you as an individual, again, to hyper focus even more, because other people are relying on you versus you just relying on yourself. I know I'm giving everybody a lot. I wasn't trying to make this like a motivational.
You know what the best part about the whole thing, Pedro, is that on the Zoom screen, set to 2-person screen here, you're kind of up close. You got the Jesus hair going, and you have the metaphysical background going on with the galaxies and all that. It's like we got the motivational speaker in today.
Nah, man. But it's so
here come
true.
The tarot cards.
Oh no, not you.
Winning. Every card's a winning card today.
Yeah. But like in the same sense, it is this idea of, like there's this moment when I'm gonna use this because it's a good example. Easter's coming, and so it's a good example. So there's this period in time when Jesus, right, is sitting down. He's talking about, I kind of look like the atypical 21st century Jesus. But this idea and I don't look, and I literally do not look like the first century Second Temple Judaism Jesus, because he would not look like me. But I'm talking about how like the picture. Anyways, I'm so sorry to even jump into that. But what I'm trying to say is this: is that he's sitting down with his disciples, and they're arguing basically over the during the Last Supper, who's going to be the best. Like they're like, yeah, I'm the best. I'm gonna sit next to Jesus when he sets everything up in his kingdom. I'm gonna be all out of baggage, supersized. They're all bragging, like trying to explain why they're the better. And Jesus simply just says, dude, like, yo, if you want to be the greatest, you've got to be the least. And he derobes himself and he washes their feet. And then, within a few hours later, he's crucified to save the sins of the world. Right? Now,
there's some motivational talk.
But what I'm trying to say is this.
Dead.
But then he raises on the third day, right? And all humanity can ask for forgiveness of sins. But my point is this, is that, oh, and I forgot to mention, he also handles the unseen realm and puts them in check and makes them bow down to him. But that's another day, another time. But what I'm saying, though, is this, is that he says, if you want to be great, you've got to serve. And the idea of you can find a meta-narrative focus for your life where you serve other people, like Elon Musk has, Donald Trump, obviously, I feel like he really wants to put America first. He didn't need to run for president. Guy was already a multi-billionaire, loved by all the Dems and the majority of the Republicans, right? Like the man had it very well. And for him to just...
my great comment, classic. It's all going good. Then he got crucified. Sorry.
But,
no, Pontius, no.
No, actually, if anything, he was actually calling out Pontius, like, bro.
We don't need to go down that road anymore.
But what I'm saying, though, is this, is that find something large for yourself. That's what I'm saying. Find something large for yourself and kind of see where you're trying to focus on. Tom, why are you trying to trade? Why are you trying to get that trade? Besides just making money, what is it? What's the end result? And then focus on really that. And that will help you mitigate your unfocused time to much more focused time on to get good at the thing you want to. And then the idea of staying positive then just kind of becomes like this center focus for you. So you can really push it through. And as you start to focus, then you find more focused time. I know it sounds weird, but that's kind of how it works. I'm really giving you guys a lot here.
I only got 10 minutes left because I have that 2 o'clock call that I was telling you about.
Oh, yeah,
actually, it's 2:05, so I got to...
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the next pivot point here down here. So down at the next level is this 78,000 area as we now continuing down. We went up on Saturday and Sunday. As you guys can see, Saturday and Sunday, we went down. Tuesday and Wednesday, we went up to come touch the 8 period, and now we're continuing down. So we should see this thing come down to the 75,000 area. Again, just to point out, because this is where a lot of stops are sitting, right? Expect a little stop pull right here, a bounce from here. That would be that 77,041 cent area here. This would be the low right there, or the local low here, which is going to be right here. So you should expect some type of bounce from there, so make a couple quick bucks. But ultimately, I'm expecting us to come and tap this area here, which is going to be that 75,000 to the 74,000 area, or 75,578 to that 74,397 area. Really nice area here to be playing off of. And then after that, we shall see what happens. Again, we've talked about that 73.55 on the 400 period moving average here for about 3 weeks now. We've been playing off here since it's been at that 96 area. Once we cross this area, I said, yeah, we're coming down. So there we go. Now we're coming here. All righty. I think that's about it for the BTC.
Well, I totally didn't get to the talk that I wanted to talk about stablecoins.
Oh, wait. No. I want to talk about this. Okay, we still can. All right.
Well,
my question.
Go ahead.
Well, my question is this for stablecoins. How much of, and I was going to look this up and I didn't. I wanted to know how much of the bonds that are being bought of it is actual stable coins compared to the percentage? Is it like 1% of
You lost
bond?
me on which question you're looking for. How, are people buying bonds with stablecoins?
How much? Of course they are, but how much of the bonds, percentage-wise, is being bought, and are we seeing an increase of bond buyership, right? Of like 1 month, 6 month.
Wait. To be clear, what you said is people are buying bonds with stablecoins, whereas that's a market that I haven't seen develop yet, versus taking the money that they get for minting stablecoins and using the cash like Tether does to buy bonds as the reserve.
I apologize. Yes, that.
Okay, I thought you meant there was a market now where they could just use USDT directly to buy bonds.
I thought there was something.
I think there's little ones because people have tokenized bonds and stuff like that. But okay, I got you. I would like to know that number two as well, because for a while it was big because Tether was loading up on them. Yeah. And as the Chinese were selling US bonds, Tether was buying them from them. And they're getting ready to be a bunch of 7 trillion of them are going to be refinanced in April. So we'll see how that goes. No, but I'll save the long talk for another day so we can jibber jabber the rest of this. But the general idea, ladies and gentlemen, was the show topic was supposed to be here, stablecoin mania. Even though the crypto market is in the dumps right now, I shouldn't say it's in the dumps because it's not. It's still way up from this time last year. Everything is fine with it. It's down from the hopium highs that everyone had at the end of 2024. Where's my list of things here? But the stable coins have been going nuts because of they're easy to use. I mean, they're easy to use in crypto, but now they're becoming easy to use in payments, and people all over the world are getting paid more than in the U.S. I would say, because other people's economies suck compared to the U.S. and their payment systems may be slower and more creaky or higher fees. And so now they're like, I was reading an article about a guy in Brazil who bought his. They have these. Everyone's got these little moped, motorcycle, scooter things there, and he said it was 250 or whatever Brazilian reals, and it worked out to be 250 USDT. He said, I just transferred the guy USDT. Boom, done. And so part of Brazil's economy now is based on Tether, and so that's really interesting. And some of the other things we wanted to talk about. The headline I use: is it a friend or foe to the U.S. dollar? Are stable coins a friend or foe to the U.S. dollar? In my opinion, is that stable coins based on the U.S. dollar are a friend of the U.S. dollar, because people have to use U.S. dollars, and essentially those U.S. dollars are staked now at Tether. Right? And
or any other fiat, right? You can use peso to buy.
Right, yeah, Tether will take anything. They'll take your mom. And
what did you?
No, I mean, these guys will take anything. They're like,
you're right. They'll take anything.
Right.
Keep going.
And it essentially takes that money off the market from the kind of the day-to-day spending that us retail people do, and puts it into the capital investment market. And it's almost an indirect way for 1 million people like you and I to help boost the capital markets, because we put our money as retail people, instead of going to the banks and through the investment banks and all this type of stuff, we put it right back into Tether. Immediately, their investment guys put that out into, well, they've been buying a lot of bonds, but now they're starting, they can only go so far with bonds. And they're starting to buy other types of things, like investing in infrastructure projects and that type of stuff. So I found that to be like this.
Still bonds. Just still bonds.
Essentially, it's still bonds, right? So
Yeah.
they sell bonds to fund the project. And I was like, this is quite interesting. And that's why you're seeing a lot of this regulatory jibber jabber go on with them.
Well, I think what's also interesting, just to add into that, and I know we got a few more minutes because you literally have 2 minutes to talk, so I'll make this real quick. What I think what's really interesting is we're also watching the Dems and the Republicans kind of come center towards this, especially with the initiative of Make America First for Americans, right? Not necessarily for the world, but we're just trying to make, and what Trump is trying to do. We can definitely see this happening with a lot of companies out there. They know that they can sit there, and if you look at the banks, they're trying to start their own stable coins as well, hence trying to create more of that real market where we have paper transaction easier with less fees between each other, which creating more money so that Swift doesn't take advantage of, which adds to the pocket that can be invested to small business owners.
I just remember the days when banks used to issue their own currencies all the time, and it didn't work out so well.
But here's the thing: this is a stable coin based off the national U.S. dollar, not based off of a currency fallacy system. This is based off. I mean, granted, it's a derivative, and I can see it getting out of hand, but we already see derivatives off of the U.S. dollar getting out of hand, and it could implode on itself. The key is this: and this is why I want to quote Rude over at Zach Humphrey's show. By the way, great soliloquy today, Rude. If you're watching, great job. Dude, the idea is that he simply said, as long as we keep it diverse in the aspect of we keep DeFi around the world, keep it going, you'll have a centralized system that can play, but then also a DeFi system that can also play. And if we can keep those separate, I think it will keep a good balance. It's when it all starts to merge, then also you get another bubble.
Lots of money in those markets, Pedro.
Yeah,
lots of money in it. $400 million, the expected market cap of stablecoins this at some point during this year. I'm sorry, 400 billion. 400 billion. I believe that one of the major countries of the world that's experiencing these problems is going to shift their budget to a U.S. dollar-based stablecoin of some sort, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Argentina. They're already leaning towards it. Milei is finally having a little pushback there from the people. People were used to getting their pensions doubled and tripled every year, and he stopped that because he said, we're stopping inflation, so we're not doubling and tripling your pensions. And they're like, well, we've got, they've got mortgages and they've got other stuff that were based on that, and they're like, we need more. We need more because we always get more. You're promised more. And he's like, no, we're removing inflation, so you don't get cost of living adjustments for your pensions. And so they're having riots down there now, people protesting on their version of Capitol Hill. Not like citywide riots, but just at the protest spot. And I was watching the video, and most of the people are like 40, 50 years old. And so I was reading comments, and they're like, oh yeah, in Argentina, because the previous government, they spent so much money on government employees and pensions, as essentially a socialist operation, that people got jobs with the government at age 18 and then retired at age 48 and expected the government through 500% inflation to keep paying them the rest of their lives. And so they're retired. They're like, I'm retired at age 49. Milei's like, back to work. So now they're having a little protest. He's getting a little pushback there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he cures the whole thing by just saying, all right, we're moving to stablecoin and we'll work off America's 5% inflation instead of ours, which is his inflation. It crept back up. Oh, that's a topic I can go on all about, but I gotta get going here.
All right, guys. Well, Tom's got to get out of here. It was a pleasure having you guys today. And remember, there's always a positive spin on everything. I'm not telling you to be negative of the bad things or not cognizant of it, but the reality is it is the positive side of things that will help you climb out of that negative situation. And so I just want to keep encouraging guys. Look, it's tough right now, but you can fight through this and keep it up.
Mikester, make Trump coin great again. He's thinking positive there.
There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear the outro there. Oh, he's got the Rumble. He's got the Rumble logo spinning around. I like that. I haven't seen that one before. Thank you, Mikester, for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks, Chuck. Crypto Mike. Carmen Crypto. Thank you, Pedro Garcia, for the motivational speech today.
Sorry about that.
Crypto Mike, I don't know what you mean by an RDSP. out an app to get in our DSP. Maybe that's a Canadian retirement thing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you today. The man over here next to me is the one and only Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media universe. We'll be with you here tomorrow in one form or another. So come by again tomorrow, and we will have a show for you one way or another, because I am going to have another winning day tomorrow. So see you then. Be there.